Hey, my name is Shayla Atkins. I am the founder and CEO of the Atkins Impact Coaching and Consulting Firm. We are a global diversity, equity, and inclusion company that advances racial and gender equity and cultivates inclusive cultures in the workplace. But we are also home to Women Lead with Spice, our signature professional and leadership development program designed to help Black and brown women shed those layers and show up and lead unapologetically as themselves. And that is the way to deliver results. What makes us great and under my leadership is the fact that companies hire us for strategies that stick. After the death of George Floyd, companies were grappling with the intersection of diversity and inclusion and launching strategies, but yet they're not there. We have strategies that stick. And our Women Lead with Spice program is especially designed to help Black women advance up into the C-suite without code switching, without imposter syndrome. I always say yourself is good enough. So let's show those box braids, those coils, your bright colors, and that is how you show up to lead and deliver results. And that is what makes us great and what makes us great under my leadership. So there I was, my second year in college, and I had to leave. I had to leave due to financial challenges. My grades weren't the best, and I left. I left all my friends, and when I left, I was devastated. I was sad. And so I come home, and I had to enter the workforce. Yep, I had to get a job in retail. So I start working, and not knowing that this was impacting my self-confidence. And I enter into corporate America. So I go to start operating production lines, and I wanted to claw my way up to the top. This girl who had to finish her college degree online. And I climbed my way up to the top to leading global diversity and inclusion strategies for global corporations. Along the way, I spent 15 years hiding my past because I thought I didn't have that pedigree. I didn't have that fancy alma mater. I didn't have all the money, and I didn't have the connections that people had in the corporate space. And you know what I'm talking about when you're the only in the room and you have to prove who you are and prove that you deserve to be in that space. And so I spent over 20 years code switching and overcompensating for the fact that I wasn't that girl that had the fancy alma mater and all those letters behind my name and all the degrees. And so the second challenge that really defined who I am today was when I started my journey in becoming a mother. Trying to conceive was a 5-year journey for me. After 5 long years and trying naturally, whatever that means nowadays, right? Trying with insemination and finally left to do IVF. And I felt the one thing I was put on this earth to do, I couldn't do, was to give life. And I was crushed. And it defined who I am today and why I tell Black and brown women that who you are is enough, that you are resilient, and that you can come out on the other side of that. But those 2 defining moments led me to be the person that I am today and the CEO that I am today. Now, with those challenges, of course, came some lessons. And the lessons that I learned after 15, 20 years of code switching and hiding who I was. And the key to my success was staring me right in the mirror, and that was me, was to embrace me. Instead of looking at my adversities as shortcomings, I learned to embrace them as my competitive advantage. That's what made me me. That's what made me unique. So instead of looking at my past and my adversities as, oh my God, this is one more thing I don't have. This is one more thing of why I can't compete. These were the things that said, you know what, I'm resilient. I can overcome. I'm a problem solver. And those became the skills that I used as a leader in corporate America that set me apart. And once I learned to do that, my career skyrocketed. And it was a person who can come from operating manufacturing production lines to leading global HR organizations. Yes, you can do it. And the other journey, the other lesson that I learned along my journey was to not tie my worth to my performance. As women, we connect our identities to what we do and what we deliver. And the fact that I had a challenging journey for childbirth, I completely said, I'm not even worthy as a woman. I tied and connected my identity and my value to what it is that I do. And so I tell all Black and brown women, all women, to not tie and connect your identity to your performance. You are more than your degrees. You are more than your titles and certifications. You are more than all the tasks that you do as a mom, as a wife, as a spouse. There's more to you underneath that. And that was something that I had to learn. I had to learn to shed all those layers. I mastered all the certifications to overcompensate. But who was I underneath all of that at the core? And once I learned that and learned to love myself, that's when the success came in. That was the lesson I had to learn, was to not tie your identity and your worth to your performance.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown. I just want to speak to you, the speaker, or maybe not even a speaker, right? Maybe you're not a speaker, but you have a message inside of you that you want to release, or maybe you have a story, right? A story of your life, a story in your career, or maybe as you're listening right now, you're an expert, right? You're an expert at teaching people how to do something. You're an expert at raising kids. And I want you to imagine for a moment that you had an opportunity to share your message or your story on a bigger stage. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment and what that would mean for you if you could reach your target audience. If you're an entrepreneur, if that target audience got associated to the problem that you solve, or if you're a super entrepreneur with sales funnels out there, not only did they get associated to who you were, but they were able to join your list. Now, for other folks, that won't make no sense at all. But for you, the entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to invite you over to something called the Comeback Champion Summit. And the whole purpose of the Comeback Champion Summit is really to do one thing, which is one word, and that is possibilities. That's right. When you get a chance to get on stage, you get a chance to do it virtually, and some of you maybe in person, and you get a chance to share your story. So something deep inside of you. I always say your message, because some of you have a message or your expertise. Then guess what happens? 3 things happen. Number 1, you get to make a difference. And isn't that why you are on this earth? I mean, I don't want to get emotional here, but you're really on this earth to make a difference for someone else. Something has happened to you so it can go through you to someone else. And being able to speak on a platform that provides an audience, it's like having a microphone that allows you to help more people faster. So that's number 1. Number 2, when you're on a platform, I'm going to invite you to the Comeback Champion Summit, you get a chance to have more meaning in the world, to have more impact, and to have more influence. And that's really who we're looking for. We're looking for folks out there who have an interest, want, or desire of serving others. So if that's you, I'm going to invite you to go over to www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Again, comebackchampionsummit.com. Click the button. It'll say apply to speak. Go through the process. And if it's a good fit, can't wait to share your story over at the Comeback Champion Summit or any one of our platforms that serves other folks. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again real soon. See you out.
Oh man, this is a really good question. What would I go back and tell my 21-year-old self, those 3 principles? Like, let me think back. When I was 21, I took out 4 payday loans to move out of my parents' home. I was working in retail. I was struggling, and I believe actually I was leaving retail to go and work in those manufacturing production lines. And what I would tell that person, that girl who was coming out of chaos to find her way, was to not shrink yourself. Do not shrink yourself. Do not dim your light to let others shine brighter. Who you are is good enough. The other lesson I would tell her is that your past does not define who you are. I used to think that I was a product of my own environment, that because I had very humble beginnings, I grew up on the north side of St. Louis, and that's all that I could be. And who knew at 21 that almost 20 years later that I would be a CEO of a global firm, walking away in corporate America from a multi-six-figure job, salary, who knew? So I would tell her that those lessons and those trials that you're going through will make you strong, will make you resilient. I will tell her, don't give up. This time in your life is very, very hard right now, but don't give up. The last thing I would tell her is to be yourself. And when I'm saying your true, unapologetic, radical, authentic self. Do not code switch. Do not straighten your hair to make others feel comfortable. Do not raise your tone of voice up a couple octaves so that you don't sound as threatening and intimidating and passionate as you want to be. Do not wear those dark gray and black colors so that you can fit in later on to only be upset that you're not standing out and that you're not memorable. To tell her that rock your mohawk, rock your box braids, that does not impact your ability to effectively lead high-performing teams, that does not matter, and that you are a leader, and that your past does not define who you are, even though you just took out those 4 payday loans. Hang in there, sis. So, well, where am I today? So the girl who came from taking out those payday loans to survive, things are going amazing. So I have left corporate America for good to be a full-time entrepreneur. And who knew that coming from the north side of St. Louis, if you know, you know, that I'll be able to walk away from a multi-six-figure salary and to lead now my global diversity and inclusion coaching and consulting firm. It's so exciting. I love it. Organizations definitely work with us, again, for those strategies that stick, that culture that actually permeates throughout their organization. And Black and brown women work with us to shed those layers and to show up. And so what's coming, what's on the horizon? Well, Women Who Lead with Spice is our signature professional and leadership development program that does just that. It builds that business acumen, it builds that savvy, that image, that communication skills, and those collaboration skills that we need to show up in the workplace. And what I see in my vision is that Women Lead with Spice is a worldwide cultural phenomenon. I can see this now happening to where women of color all over the world are disrupting status quo. We are in the workplace leading our way, the way that works for us. And we are showing up and we're delivering results. We're in the C-suite without having to code switch and without having to sacrifice our identities, our sanity, or our family and relationships in order to excel. The global firm, the coaching and consulting firm for diversity and inclusion, we will help the organizations who are actually on this journey, who are committed, again, with those strategies that stick. And in the future, I see us being a worldwide global phenomenon and highly sought after from leaders and organizations around the world. So things are going amazing. My rainbow babies, Ava and Zoe, my 5-year-old twins, they are thriving and doing well. And I'm so excited. Again, I would not know what to tell that 21-year-old girl who who was struggling. And so guess what? I would tell her, you married your high school sweetheart and you have 2 beautiful children. So life is amazing. Why do companies hire the Atkins Impact Consulting firm? First and foremost, what I pride myself on is the fact that we do not only understand theory, but we understand how to practically apply strategies that stick. We move global corporations in their diverse representation and leadership, specifically for women and people of color. I remember we worked with a global corporation who was stagnant. They plateaued on their workforce representation. And within 12 months, we moved them 2 entire percentage points for a company size of 50,000. We increased their employee engagement scores by 2 entire points in 12 months, which is completely unheard of. One, not because we said, let's do training programs. We got to the root cause of their challenges, and we put strategies in place that were targeted interventions. That is what we do. And women and individuals and leaders hire us for Women Lead with Spice, our signature leadership and professional development program. This program is designed to unlock talent and to unlock those leadership capabilities in Black and brown women. We show up with up to 90% of ourselves suppressed. Can you imagine having 90% more brain power and energy in your leadership, in your life, in your business? And so individuals hire us to unlock their capabilities, to shed those layers so they can land those senior leadership positions being themselves, so they can have those game-changing, life-changing salary increases, so they can get their family and their relationships back, and they're not spending hours, and the laptop is actually what's putting them to bed at night. They get to have date nights again. They get to show up to their kids' dance recitals. Why? Because they have up to 90% more brain power and energy that's not worried about the opinions of others. They show up and lead authentically. And if you think about it from a company perspective, what can you do with your employees, your women in leadership who are now leading and delivering results that matter, and you're now unlocked 90% more of their potential? So that's why organizations and leaders hire us, because we do what? We level the playing field with strategies that stick. So look, the experience with the making of an entrepreneur team has been nothing short of amazing. I am big on customer service and customer value, and this team knows what customer service means. They meet you where you are, they deliver, they execute with excellence, and this has been nothing short of amazing. The communication has been on point, and they make you feel like you're family. They make you feel like you're at home, but yet they push you to do your best. And what more can you ask for? And so this experience today, one, it challenged me, and to have me come out of my comfort zone and do a DocuSeries. Who knew? Although I'm a speaker, but a DocuSeries, right? So this has been nothing but amazing. Shay Brown and his team, look, it would have you the next time you work with anyone else and they come in subpar, he has definitely set the bar. So I absolutely love this experience.
Thank you so much for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries. I just want to take a moment to talk to you. That's right, you that's watching right now. You the mom, or maybe you're the dad, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps you're an auntie or uncle, but you're someone out there that has a heart to give, you have a heart to serve, and as you're watching this Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I've had some life lessons, I've had some setbacks, I've had some experiences, I've gone through some things that have helped me become a better person, and I want to take that and I want to release that to other folks. Okay, Maybe you're a speaker and you're already doing it. Maybe you've written books and you've already done that. Or maybe the story that's inside of you, the expertise that's inside of you, the message inside of you, this is the right platform for you to make a bigger difference and a bigger impact in the world. Now, this whole Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, if you had to sum it up in just one word, and it's kind of hard to do that, but as I'm talking to you and you're listening right now, you might be saying, Shay, what's the one word? And the one word I would say is just legacy. Legacy. There's a legacy I understand that you want to leave for your family, and I get that. But there's also a legacy of your knowledge. There's a legacy of your expertise. And think about this. You're able to share your message or share your story or share your expertise. And long after you're gone, they still have a window into the soul of who you are and the impact that leaves behind. If that's you and you someone that's want to get the information, you're someone that's ready to do something bigger than just your business and bigger than just making more money, but you want to have more meaning in the world, do me a favor. Go over to www.themakingofanontrepreneurdocuseries.com. I know that's a long email, a long address, but I want you to hear it again one more time. Themakingofanoentrepreneur.com. Now, when you get there, just put your first name and your last name and your phone number and information in there. Worst case scenario, you have a meeting with the team and decide, hey, me being a cast member, this isn't a good fit, but I had a lot of fun. Best case scenario, you decide to take a step. Folks understand your backstory, understand what you've been through, and the world is much better off while you're here. And when the day comes and you decide to transition and move on, it's still doing very, very well. So with that being said, I just want to pop in. Thanks a lot for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur series. My name is Shay Brown. I want to encourage you to continue to watch, and I'll see you at the next episode. God bless.